Hello everyone, this is Florian, and today's video is about testing that an exception is not raised in pytest. Suppose you have a function which is called division, and it accepts two parameters. The first one is called dividend, and the second one is called divisor. And as the name indicates, the function simply returns the quotient of both. So what I would like to do is to write a single test function which checks that an exception is raised when 0 is supplied as the divisor, and in every other case no exception is raised at all. So let's head over to our test file and create the test function first. We will call it test division. And we need to import our module first. So import math_ops. And what you would typically do to test that an exception is raised, or that you expect that an exception is raised, is to use the pytest context manager, which is called pytest.raises. Then you can supply the exception that you are expected to see at this point. So this one would be then 0 division error if we supply 0 as the divisor, and I would say assert, and now let's write something like 1 divided by 0 is not none. And if we run this in the terminal, pytest test.py, we've seen that we have a passing test. The downside of this approach over here, so using the context manager that is returned by pytest.raises, is we are not able at this point to say 0 division error can be raised. So it really assumes that a 0 division error is actually raised. So what I would like to see is that I would like to use pytest's parametrize marker to supply different input values for dividend and divisor, and then also say what is my expected result. So I expect that a 0 division error is raised, or I expect that no 0 division error is raised. Let's complete the parametrize marker over here. So what are our input values? So we want to have a dividend, then a divisor, and our expectation, so our expected result. And now we supply a list of possible values, and the first combination that I want to test is 1 as the dividend and 3 as the divisor, and what I expect is that not an error is raised at all. So how can we do that? As we need to have a context manager, but this context manager should do exactly nothing, we can utilize from Python's context lib the null context. So from context lib import null context, and let's give it a proper name and say as alias for it is, or the alias for it is does not raise. All right, so if 1 is the dividend and 3 is the divisor, I expect that the result is does not raise, so that no exception is raised at all. If we have, let's say, 2 and 1, I do also expect that nothing is raised at all. Oh yeah, this function needs to be called over here. And if we have, let's say, 5 as a dividend and 0 as the divisor, I expect that something is raised. So pytest.raises 0 division error. And let's complete the function signature. So we have the dividend, we have the divisor, and we have the expectation. Now we can write something like with expectation, because in every case we get a context manager back, and inside of it we can say that math_ops.dividend, or that math_ops.division when this one is called with dividend and divisor, then the result should be none. So dividend is written with a D at the end. And if we now run the test suite again, we can see that we have all passing tests. So if you come across the situation where you want to test that either an exception is raised or not, you can use the null context manager from the context loop, which returns basically a null context, so that you can still use pytest's parametrize marker in order to write only one test function. That's all for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay curious and keep coding.